While America was busy watching the circus of politics and celebrity meltdowns, a corporate earthquake was silently tearing through the economy. Behind closed doors, 5 of the most powerful U.S. corporations, brands you use every day, just made their move. Not because of wages, not because of tech, but because of tariffs. Tariffs that were supposed to protect American jobs are now pushing them overseas. And what's worse, it's already happening. Boardrooms are panicking. Factories are emptying. Billion-dollar data centers are going dark. And the media? Dead silent. In the next 15 minutes, you'll discover which corporations are quietly leaving and why they're not coming back, the real cost of Trump's tariff bombshell and who's about to pay it, and how this silent exodus could trigger a collapse of the American middle class. If you think the economy feels off right now, wait until you see what these CEOs are doing behind the scenes. This isn't clickbait. This is the future, unfolding in real time. Mass Exodus 5. Top U.S. corporations flee after Trump's tariff bombshell. 1. Shockwaves on Wall Street. When Trump dropped the 2025 tariff bombshell, Wall Street didn't just blink, it convulsed. The result? A financial quake that shattered confidence from New York to Tokyo. In just 72 hours, the Dow Jones nosedived 2,136 points, the worst crash since 2008. Over $1.1 trillion in global wealth evaporated. The VIX Fear Index exploded by 250%, hitting levels unseen since the darkest days of COVID. But that wasn't the scariest part. Behind closed doors, foreign central banks began dumping U.S. debt like radioactive waste. China offloaded $34 billion in U.S. treasuries. Japan followed with $17 billion. Brazil, Saudi Arabia, quietly backing out too. Translation? The world's faith in the U.S. economy is collapsing, and with it, your future mortgage rate, your retirement fund, and the job market as you know it. But while the markets were free-falling, one tech giant moved with surgical precision. Next, the biggest brand in your pocket just ghosted America. 2. Apple's Great Indian Escape. Apple didn't make a press release. They didn't have to. The numbers spoke volumes, a 46% surge in exports from India and Vietnam in Q2. A Foxconn just dropped $1.5 billion into a mega factory near Chennai, a city-sized iPhone hub near Bengaluru, already housing 30,000 workers. This isn't diversification. This is evacuation. Leaked Apple memos confirm a $2.3 billion chip plant in Arizona, now scaled back. A 60% of future production shifting to India. To Apple's next AI lab? Not in California, but Tel Aviv. The trigger? Tariffs, especially those hitting lithium and rare earth metals. Every iPhone now costs $46 more, just in raw materials. One Apple executive whispered, "These weren't tariffs on China. These were tariffs on Apple's future." And just as Apple was quietly slipping out the back door, another American icon was speeding north with a billion-dollar escape route. Next, Musk's next gigafactory isn't in Texas. It's in Canada. 3. Tesla's Northern Gambit. When Elon Musk says America is getting too unstable for innovation, you listen. Tesla is building a $2 billion gigafactory in Ontario. 0 tariffs on lithium. On green energy subsidies. A wide-open tax breaks. This isn't expansion. It's a lifeboat. Here's what the media won't say. Europe now hits US-made EVs with 40% retaliatory tariffs. On China's subsidies for American brands gone overnight. As Shanghai gigafactory sales down 60% in 1 month. Musk reportedly told insiders, "We build where we're welcome. The US? It's becoming quicksand." Tesla isn't hedging. They're rewriting their map, and America's not the center anymore. But if Tesla's fleeing above ground, one company is digging its way out from beneath the rusting bones of American industry. Next, Caterpillar isn't just moving dirt, it's moving continents. 4. Caterpillar, foundations shifting. This one hits like a gut punch. Caterpillar. For over a century, the muscle behind America's infrastructure. But in May 2025, something unthinkable happened. 3 powerhouse plants in Illinois, Kansas, and Indiana, gone. Shuttered. Over 20,800 jobs, gone like dust in the wind. What caused it? A 92% spike in steel costs after the tariff wave. Diesel engine parts from Brazil, now taxed into oblivion. Rather than sink with the ship, Caterpillar shifted its core production to Recife, Brazil, and Chennai, India, both recently inked into low-tariff trade pacts with the UAE and Saudi Arabia. A leaked internal memo was blunt. U.S. logistics no longer make sense. We must secure forward bases near raw inputs. Workers who once clocked into Caterpillar are now relying on portable power banks and solar generators just to get through the blackout of employment. In fact, Amazon's Jackery solar generator has seen a 70% spike in U.S. orders as households brace for power cuts, unemployment, and emergency prep. Caterpillar is no longer digging in. They're digging out. But while bulldozers leave American soil, another giant is quietly shuttering your favorite stores and replacing them abroad. Next, what Target is doing will make your local mall look like a ghost town. 5. Target's retail retreat, enhanced. Target, once the heartbeat of the American suburb. Now, 193 U.S. stores will be gone by the end of 2025. Entire communities wiped off the retail map. But here's what the headlines won't say. While stores are closing in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, Target is opening 48 new stores in Canada, 21 in Singapore, and 17 in Australia. Why? Because Target's supply chain depends on 71% imported goods. And the new tariffs? They've added $1.4 billion in extra costs in just 6 months. Leaked internal document reads, "The American middle class is now in chronic economic fatigue. They can't spend. They can't save. They can only survive." Retail spending in middle-income U.S. zip codes has plunged 19%, the sharpest crash since the 2008 collapse. For millions, essentials now mean stretching every dollar. That's why ultra-durable backpacks like the Samsonite Tectonic Lifestyle backpack are trending again. Built for long commutes, uncertain jobs, and second gigs, Target isn't just relocating stores, it's relocating the American consumer dream. But what if it's not your groceries or gear at stake? What if it's your data, your voice, your very digital identity? Next, Meta's digital escape plan is more dangerous than you think. 6. Meta's digital exodus, enhanced. Forget the metaverse. Meta's biggest pivot in 2025 isn't virtual, it's geographical. This year, 43% of Meta's U.S. data operations were rerouted overseas. To where? Ireland, Israel, UAE. Why? Because new EU digital taxes and U.S. energy regulation made American servers an expensive liability. A chilling internal directive leaked, cheaper to train our AI in Singapore than Seattle. Facebook's Reels, Instagram's ads, even your political feed? Now shaped by algorithms trained outside U.S. borders. Zuckerberg's internal memo reportedly said, "We're not leaving the U.S. The U.S. is leaving us." And it doesn't stop with code. Meta is also outsourcing hardware testing to countries with looser privacy laws, allowing AI models to be stress-tested without legal restrictions. In response, privacy-savvy users have been snapping up offline protection tools like the Yubico security key, a tiny, affordable device that guards your digital identity in an era of vanishing borders. Meta's next data supercluster? It's not in Silicon Valley. It's in Abu Dhabi. And that's just one of the 5 corporate chess pieces now off the American board. Next, the final blow, the geopolitical gamble that could collapse the dollar. 7. The geopolitical gamble. This isn't just about tariffs anymore. This is about a geopolitical rewire. and America's position at the top is no longer guaranteed. In 2025, the BRICS alliance, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, unveiled BRICS-Pay, a direct competitor to the US-controlled SWIFT system. Here's the twist. BRICS-Pay is backed by a gold-linked digital currency, not the US dollar. And now, for the first time since World War II, the dollar's dominance in global trade has slipped below 50%. That's not a dip. It's a tectonic collapse. And the corporations that once helped build US supremacy? They're hedging their bets in silence. Meta is anchoring its next AI supercluster in Abu Dhabi. Tesla is building its lithium empire in South Africa's Northern Cape. And Amazon just launched a fully automated mega fulfillment center in Indonesia, where labor is cheap and regulation is non-existent. And while US indexes stagnate, the Singapore exchange is up 14% year-to-date. As this shift unfolds, Americans are turning to smart, compact travel gear like the Nomadic Navigator carry-on, perfect for remote workers relocating abroad in search of opportunity. One former IMF director didn't mince words. We're witnessing a new Cold War, but this time, the US might be the Soviet Union. And still, Washington stays quiet. Next, why the media is keeping you distracted while the exodus escalates. 8. Why the media won't talk. Ever wonder why you haven't heard any of this on mainstream news? Here's the brutal truth. These companies, Apple, Meta, Tesla, Target, buy ad space. Billions of dollars of it. So when they start fleeing the US market, the networks say, nothing. Even worse, this mass corporate retreat doesn't fit the official narrative. It threatens the carefully managed illusion of a booming economy, especially ahead of the 2026 elections. So instead, you're fed distractions, partisan rage, culture wars, clickbait scandals, all while America is being gutted from within. Next, the part no one wants to hear how this affects you. 9. What it means for you. This isn't just about corporations. It's about you. Your job may already be in another time zone. Your paycheck? Worth less every month. Your investments? Vulnerable to collapse if US markets lose international confidence. Your voice in the global economy? Fading as corporate decisions get made 6,000 miles away. And the scariest part? Most Americans won't know it happened until it's too late. But there's still time to prepare. Protect your data. Diversify your income streams. And educate yourself about global trends before they blindside your future. This isn't fear-mongering. It's the massive economic shift no one is preparing you for. Next, the final twist, what Washington insiders know and won't admit. 10. The silent panic in Washington enhanced. Behind the scenes in D.C., the panic has already begun. Sources confirm. As of May 2025, over 24 U.S. senators have demanded closed-door emergency talks with Treasury officials. The agenda? Industrial dispersal. A code phrase for, we're bleeding companies, and we don't know how to stop it. So why hasn't this gone public? Because admitting it would mean facing a hard truth. That decades of policy, outsourcing, deregulation, global dependence are now detonating at the heart of the U.S. economy. And no politician wants to be the first to say, we've lost control. But here's the cold reality. While Washington debates, America's biggest brands are slipping out the back door. Quietly, systematically, permanently. And unless you're watching very closely, you'll wake up one day to a country that no longer builds, no longer supplies, and no longer programs for itself. We don't play by corporate media rules. We bring you what they won't. If you want the real story, the full picture, subscribe now and hit the bell. Because when the next domino falls, you'll want to be the first to know, not the last to feel it.